First off, it's Charles J. That just in case you ain't heard of me, they told me it was too late. But I promise that I'll be the first to speak. Most of these rappers, they fake. But you can't have your way, this ain't Burkhead. Everybody say they won't be till they see smooth and they realize they'd rather have turkey meat.
What it do, what it do? It's 903 Boxing. I'm your host, Charles J. Say, man, shout out to my audience. Shout out to those that's rocking with me. Yeah, we back in the kitchen. There's a whole lot of goddamn sauce in this pot, man. Let's get to the shit. My reaction to The Equalizer 3. Normally I don't do this. Normally I don't get reactions to movies, but I felt quite compelled to do a reaction. I'm gonna be honest with you. Me and my wife went on a date. Well, I ain't gonna say a date. We just kind of went out, and it was cool and shit like that. But anyway, we ended up going to the movies or whatever. And initially, we was gonna see the Liam, what's that boy from Taken? It's a bad motherfucker. I can't think of the name of it, but he got a movie out right now. And we was gonna go see that one with the dude from Taken. You know what I'm saying? Because I've seen the first two Equalizers. Anyway, so when we got to the movies, found out that movie didn't come on till later on that night, and that the Equalizer was finna come on in like 30 minutes. So we were like, fuck it, let's watch Equalizer. I was like, fuck it. Yeah, it's Denzel, you know? By the way, Denzel is one of my favorite actors of all time. But I've been noticing some shit. I've been noticing a pattern. In the Equalizer 1, Denzel, I don't just remember it, but for the most part, it was some Russian prostitute that was getting slapped up by her pimp, and he saw that shit and was walking. He was just walking by and saw that shit and got in that shit and went to war with the whole Russian mafia and took them out. Took him out over that prostitute, and then gave her a bunch of money to move away. He risked his whole life and destroyed a whole mafia over that Russian girl. Anyway, part 2, it was the Russian dude he was supposed to be a boss from Russia. He come to check on his homies basically, and trying to find out who the fuck is this dude that killed all my homies. And yeah, Denzel ended up taking him out. He warned him first. Speaking of warning, I'm just gonna say this, cause it's a lot of things that goes on in every Equalizer. Yeah. For one, you definitely put yourself in situations that ain't got shit to do. Black folks are not that nosy, for one, cause you're a Black American in these movies. You're not labeling yourself a French, black, or nothing else. You are African American, and as African Americans, we carry ourselves a certain way. We're not very nosy, especially when it comes to violence. We get the fuck away from that shit and go tell our homeboy or homegirl what the fuck we just saw, but we never get in it. Black folks do not intervene in violence. We don't break up fights. We don't do none of that shit. Another thing you did that Black Americans really don't do. In part 3, let me tell you something. For one, I'm gonna tell you something. I thought this really was a foreign movie. It just had Denzel. This shit was a foreign movie. The whole movie was in Italy. Denzel barely spoke English. I'm gonna tell you something. He speak the shit out that Italian. He was speaking all kind of languages and multiple languages. So they had to translate most of the movie. Anyway, another thing you did, Denzel, not 80% of the movie is spent with him at that tea shop. I guess they sip a lot of tea in Italy. I don't know if that's a European thing, but he was sipping tea every time. In pretty much every scene, he would just sip tea. It It was two. It was one sister. I don't know if he even got with her. I don't know. I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna get to why I don't know if they hooked up or not. But yeah, it was one sister. It was one black kid. And they was the only blacks anyway. And I guess she was the waitress and shit like that. And it had the white girl from Man on Fire. She was a special investigator or some shit. But he sipped a lot of tea in this movie. He kept him a cup with cream on top of it. I ain't never seen that shit. Anyway, he did a lot of shit that just black Americans don't do. Oh, another thing. Listen, the way he killed folks in each part is very impressive. You know, he cold with that knife too. But what's very unrealistic, which most movies are very unrealistic, but that little time watch and that 10 seconds, you giving them 10 seconds to kill you and shit, that's not realistic, bro. To tell somebody what you finna do and then set your watch for 10 seconds and wait 10 seconds and they got the guns pointed at you and somehow you always get all the guns and you beat them with the gun, then you stab them and you kill 13 people with a 10-second watch. Anyway, but the kills are very impressive. In part 3, you got shot in the back by a little kid and some older Italian brother, he was a doctor, and he got the bullet out and bandaged you up and said you could stay on his couch until you got healed. I guess you grew quite fond of him. Matter of fact, you was finna leave, and one of his homies had a little bakery, a little tea shop or some, cause they got plenty of tea shops on every corner out there in Italy. It was an Italy gang. I guess they was extorting the brother for his at his tea shop. And Denzel, the day Denzel was finna leave and he was finna go on and go back to America or wherever he was finna go, he saw that they had set the tea shop on fire and the brother was crying. And he seen the gang members and he was looking at them and shit like that. So basically the whole point, he was finna leave, but he decided he want to stay. He said, I found my home. He went and told the Russian gangsters that I found a home over here, and I appreciate if y'all quit extorting people and stop doing what y'all doing, because I found the home in Italy and it can't be this way. So the Russian gangsters told him, you know, who the fuck are you, basically. So he killed the son of one of the Russian gangsters. And now the whole Russian or Italians or whatever European gang, because it's a lot of them. But whichever one, they was out there. I'm going to stop right there. The entire movie, I was yawning. Birds was chirping, squirrels was fucking. I couldn't stop shaking my goddamn leg. I was yawning. I kept dozing off. I was looking over at my wife. She looking over at me. She kept checking with me. You okay, baby? She know me very well. She could tell that I was not very entertained, bro. And finally, because the entire movie, bro, and I'm telling you, bro, I got patience. I love movies, especially action movies. I love Denzel. But I found it very hard watching that movie. The entire first hour, nothing happens. He's sipping tea at that tea shop the first hour of the movie, bro. He just back and forth to the tea shop. Back and forth to the tea shop, sipping that tea with that cream on top. So, about an hour and a half into the movie. I don't know if this movie is about 3-4 hours long. It gotta be. Because within an hour and a half, my wife looked at me and she said, baby, this shit trash. I said, you think I said, you agree? I said, but I've been feeling that way. I just didn't want to be rude. Yeah, I didn't want to ruin the little date we out chilling. I didn't want to ruin the moment. I had been wanting to leave. Bro. I'm being honest, bro. And I love going to movies. And also, I don't believe in wasting money. None of that shit. But, and this is Denzel, bro. But I had a hard time. It's like I was making myself watch this movie. Finally, baby said, "You want to get the fuck out of here?" I immediately jumped up, grabbed her arm. Let's get the fuck up out of here. Let's get the fuck. We didn't finish the movie, bro. We didn't finish the movie. Saying that to say, I'm just gonna wrap this up with this. Denzel, you're one of the greatest actors that has ever done it. But over the years, you've changed. Ever since you got that Oscar from Training Day. Your whole movie role, because before Training Day, most roles you was a father. Most of your movie roles you was a black man. You played Malcolm X. You played John Q. Most movies you was like a upstanding black man. You was never a killer. You was never a gangster or none of that shit. But anyway, Training Day, and a lot of people love it because you acted. You did the fool. You do the fool in every movie. But you acted your ass off, and a lot of people love Training Day. But also Training Day, that was after that your movie role and after that you never really acted in a movie where you was with a black woman. Most of your movies after that involve white women. Most movies from Flight to all of them, you are involved with white women. The only movie where you with a black with Fences, and that's Viola Davis. That's the only black shit you've done ever since Training Day. So, never did I ever think, and I ain't gonna lie, I like the movie Flight. But whoever thought that Denzel would be snorting powder and fucking a white woman? You just never saw that when you was coming up. Nobody ever thought that you'd be snorting powder and fucking with a cokehead white girl. I'm just saying, bro, listen. Seeing that movie, it reminded me of Roy Jones and Andre Rozier and what they do. Because Roy Jones has a passport in Russia. Roy Jones is traveling the ghettos of Russia, and he's helping all the ghetto Russian babies that are impoverished, and he's teaching them our sauce and how we fight and our skills and shit like that. So he's helping kids all over the world. Saying that to say this, when you read the cover of Equalizer and what it's about, it says that basically Denzel Washington is a man who looks for those who are being oppressed, and he fights. He fights the corruptness. He fights the system. And he goes and he fights for those that are oppressed. I just think that's very funny, because to be a black man from America, to say you fight for those that are oppressed. In every movie, bro, you in another fucking country. And that's our problem as black men. We think to blow up, we got to cross over. We got to be able to tour in Europe. We got to be able to tour all over the world. We got to be able to cross over our music and be able to do rock and roll and cross over with stand-up comedy and be able to perform in front of an all-white crowd. We just always want to be a crossover appeal, and we neglect our own. And in all of Denzel's movies, look at Man on Fire. And he was the shit in Man on Fire. But he was finna commit suicide, and the little white girl saved him from himself and stopped him from killing himself. And the white girl got kidnapped, and he tore up the whole he set the whole city on fire. That's why it's called, man. He killed 786 motherfuckers in that movie behind that white girl. And he cried, and I'm just gonna be, bro, it's hard not to see race, because I just see, it's just how they point shit out, bro. If black men, if he ain't gay in a movie these days, either he gay or he's saving a white woman. The only way to be a superhero these days as a black actor, you got to save white women. That's just it. It's all over. A white woman is the reason why you kill a whole goddamn nation of motherfuckers. It's just some King Kong shit. When King Kong was standing on that building, beating on his chest, trying to save that white girl, and had him in his palms and shit, and he was climbing up that goddamn skyscraper. It just reminded me of that. And I'm gonna tell you another thing. Whenever I see a movie these days where it's black kids involved and it's a hero, it's always a white boy or a white girl. The state hero is the substitute teacher and end up saving all the kids. It's never no black man helping black. I ain't seen a movie where it's a black man that's helping black people or kids since Coach Carter. Since Coach Carter. There's no movies like that. It's either some, anyway. In my opinion, I just think Denzel over the years You know, as I notice with black men, the older they get, the more they willing to compromise. The more they willing to compromise. You know, just the more they willing to compromise. Like I said, Denzel, all his roles ever since Training Day have been, he a killer. And also, in my opinion, it promotes a lot of gun violence. That's why these youngsters shooting like that. Just like hip-hop promotes a lot of gun violence. He don't promote that good-hearted shit. He ain't on no John Q and finna fuck up a whole hospital and the police force behind his child like a strong black man and a strong black father. You ain't gonna see him in none of that shit no more. But like I said, I ain't finna stay on this motherfucker forever. But anyway, Equalizer 3, it just shows that black men, especially older black men, the older you motherfuckers get, the softer you get. And you always trying to save a whole nation of other motherfuckers when it's ghetto babies in America that really need some tending to and need help. Besides the football coach who trying to really smash his mama while he coaching the kids and shit. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. The Equalizer 3, I wouldn't recommend it. Let me tell you something. That's one of the most, to be Denzel, it's one of the most boring roles, one of the most boring movies that I've ever seen. And to be part 3, I thought, I was like, yeah, they finna top. Bro, the entire first hour and a half, nothing happens. At least the first hour, bro, he just sipping tea at that goddamn tea shop with that goddamn cream on top. Like I said, bro, at this point, you know, I used to think Morgan Freeman was like an OG until about a couple years ago, he came out on CNN and said, black folks should just, if we want to stop racism in America, let's just quit talking about it. That's the way to solve racism in America. Let's just quit talking. But when I heard Morgan Freeman say that, it just, you know, the older we get, the softer we get, and the more compromising you motherfuckers get. We don't get older and stronger. We get older and weaker. And in my opinion, Denzel, I'm telling you, his next role gonna be some weird shit. And it's just gonna get weirder and weirder as it go. But in my opinion, you one of the greatest actors of all time. But The Equalizer 3 ain't it, bro. That movie was garbage. And my wife, I'm telling you, she got way more patience than me. For her to tell me, baby, let's get the fuck up out of here. She couldn't even stand to see the whole movie because it just wasn't interesting. It was no excitement, thrill to the movie, bro. It was boring as shit. Let me tell you something. The best shit about that movie is the view of Italy. Yeah, they got a nice view of Italy and showing, you know, the beautiful parts of it. Yeah, the views is nice and shit like that. And yeah, and all them buildings. But at the end of the day, bro, I'm telling you something. Just black male actors, it just ain't no movies where they in the ghetto saving kids or some shit. We always way in another country trying to save some other motherfuckers. Anyway, I'm telling you something, and you know. But yeah, next time I should have just stuck and watched Liam Neeson or some shit. You know, if I'm gonna watch a hero, I might as well watch. But anyway, let me get off this motherfucker. This is 903 Boxing. I'm your host, George J. With that, I'm out.